Hi there, welcome to my channel. Today we are working on a knitted sweater and we are using a Knitmaster 321. The pattern I'll be using is a hand knitted garment that I'll be making a copy of for the machine knitting. Here you can see that I'm measuring it, and you measure every part of it that you can, and this is what your pattern will be. The most important measurement will be the center front measurement, so you can determine the length. Write down the pattern as you go along. You don't have to be a good drawer to be able to do this pattern. You just need to write down the notes of approximately how many stitches you need to do, and just to check the swatches that you're going to make, and also check your tension to see how many stitches and how many rows you need to determine. This is the knitting for the front and back. They're exactly the same measurement. And just make sure you mark where the center front is going to be with the knitting. You then attach the knitting to the front of you, not to the reverse side, because you are going to do a tuck stitch which will be the actual pattern that you're going to be using. Just add the stitches as you go along. You just have to check the knitting to see that it's even. If you miss a few stitches, it's not really going to make that much of a difference, just as long as you get most of it on. Here it is on the actual knitting machine, and this is where you put your weights on, and this could be your front or back. This is the punch card I'll be using for the tuck stitch, and you just set your tuck stitch to 60, and I usually use size A, and make sure that all your levers and buttons are put in the correct position. This is where I'm actually done some knitting already, and I'm actually doing the shape of the neckline for the front. The front and the back were very different from each other, as the front had a neckline that needed to be measured and to be shaped, whereas the back didn't have an actual neckline as such. It actually had a slight curve shaped that worked very similar to the sleeves. And you just got to check your shoulder shapings and how that works. Here is the sleeves that I'm doing. I did the sleeves before I did the back, as I wanted to check the length, and I found that the sleeves were a little bit short, so I actually had to extend them a little bit. The actual changing of the yarn took a little bit of time, and I did find that you needed to just make sure your count is correct. This is the sleeve edge. It's actually very similar to the back. It has a slight curve in it. You just have to determine the curve. It doesn't have to be 100%. It just needs to be accurate as to how the pattern will work. This is me doing the back. It was very straightforward doing the back, and when it came to the neckline, it was very much the same as the sleeve. The back had a slight curved edge to it, and you've got to make the curve work with the shoulders. The two shoulders of the front and the back need to work together, and you need to make sure that that shoulder shaping is the same measurement, so that when you join them together, it's exactly the same. This was the shoulder shaping. It was actually quite easy to do. I do tend to do the ribbing last. When I've done the actual garment pieces, I just basically turn it upside down and then I add the ribbing on. I find it looks much easier and I don't really have to worry about the count, and sometimes I join 2 stitches together to make it a little bit more tighter for the ribbing. This is a really great pattern as the pattern didn't require armhole shaping and it didn't require neck shaping. It only needed shaping on the neckline. What the tuck stitch does is it acts as a rib. So on the shoulder it actually extends over the shoulder and increases the length of the sleeve. The hand knitted garment had a lot more stretch. Those are the pictures in the beginning of the video, and I had to add on the machine knitted version extra stitches. I only had to add about 8 stitches, and this helped to extend the sleeve the way I wanted. I had to work this pattern a little bit. I often had to undo certain sections of it, and it's just a case of trial and error as you go along. Just make sure you write down the changes in your pattern so you can correct it for the next panel piece that you have to do. When looking for patterns, you can find a pattern anywhere. You can actually find patterns from a thrift store or a charity shop, or you can look for a garment that's even in your cupboard. It's just a case of measuring something out. Sometimes the garments that we have just in our cupboard is good enough to use to make a garment, and you can find that when you've learned how to do that pattern, you can make it in a variety of different ways, and it just makes it easier for you to find patterning. Here I've joined the shoulder seam for a front and for the back, and I'm doing the neckline rib. So basically you just reattach the seam around the neckline and the front, or from the front and the back, and you just put it back onto the machine. Here I am just joining all the seams on together so that I can just finish it off. I haven't gotten into detail on how what the pattern actual measurements are altogether. I just wanted to show you some of the process that goes into it, and just how to look at a garment and how you should apply it when you're actually doing your patterning. Basically you can make a pattern from anything really, even if it's from a knitted, hand knitted garment, or whether it's from a commercially made garment that you find out in the shop. Just adjust the pattern as you go along, and just keep your notes together, and you could possibly just make the pattern again. You can rewrite it again if you want to make more garments. This is the final garment, what it looked like. It came out really well. I was quite impressed. It was basically the same shape as the original hand knit, and I was very pleased with it. I want to say thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave a comment, and I would also like to thank all the new subscribers. I will be looking at the next project, and I will see you soon.